Welcome back into another episode of Rock Boys Football. A little Thanksgiving special for you. We're recording Friday morning. We already got our Week 13 picks out for you guys. Had a good start with Ole Miss covering for us last night. We saw a prospect right there really rise up the ranks. Sam Williams, edge out of Ole Miss, looked real good, especially against one of the top prospects at tackle, Charles Cross. Without further ado, we're going to be doing the New York Jets this week. They're an exciting team. They got their Zach Wilson, franchise quarterback, and they do need some help in a lot of places, but they have 2 first-round picks. We got their depth chart. We got their contract situations pulled up. We're Bills fans, so we've seen a bunch of Jets games. We kind of know what they have to attack. And so without further ado, we're just going to fire this draft up. I think they're just going to go 1. Pretty much goes 1 every time. If he falls, you probably get him just because he's good. But I don't see you guys getting him. All right, so we're here at the number 2 spot. I do also have Evan Neal as my number 1 prospect. Going Mekhi Beckham and Vera Tucker last year. I don't think you need to go get Evan Neal right now. I think there's other spots that you need to address, even though he's probably the best prospect. Still, I think in my mind it's between Hamilton and Stingley. Stingley having the better positional value. Kyle Hamilton, probably the best prospect out of the 2. Where do you think the Jets are going here?
Yeah, I think Hamilton. I think it's in some sense an easy pick for them because their secondary might be probably the worst in the league. They're giving up a zillion points and everybody's throwing on them. So and they kind of have the bones for a decent D line if they can get Lawson healthy and Quinnen Williams continues to play he's playing at a high level. So if he continues this progression, he looks like he'll be a really good player. But
they both got him. They're both locked up for a couple of
They desperately need help in that back end. And I think Kyle Hamilton probably has the biggest impact right away. So that's kind of my thinking on it.
A little bit of a replacement for Jamal Adams, who they traded to the Seahawks.
He is an upgrade from Jamal Adams.
I think so too, because Kyle Hamilton has a lot better ball skills and coverage skills in the back end, but also can do a lot of the things Jamal Adams did, walking up into the box and playing in the box. Maybe not the better pass rusher than Jamal Adams because he is phenomenal at getting after the quarterback. But I think Hamilton's a move too. Long safety, very good range. Ball hockey too, going to get you some turnovers. So let's go get Kyle Hamilton here. Stingley might fall to 6, so we'll see. The Jags go to Marvin Leal. That's such a reach. Stingley, don't get him. Evan Neal finally goes. I'm going to reject it because I think you need to go get some help here. I'm leaning towards Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson I have over Chris Olave, and it's really, really close. It's a 1A, 1B type thing. I have Garrett Wilson as a little bit more of that it factor. Runs good routes. I think there's some room for improvement, but he has the athletic traits to really run some good routes. Olave is probably a little bit more polished in that sense. But
I think it's really hard to disentangle those two. Both really good, but I think the Jets do need a wideout one. I think you're right. I don't think Corey Davis is that guy. Elijah Moore is a good player, but he's not ever going to be your number 1.
Yep.
So I think one of those two makes sense. Whoever you like, I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Now the thing is, Aiden Hutchinson is the best on the board. Aiden Hutchinson is my number 2 prospect overall, and he's bearing down on Thibs. Yes, I'm a Michigan fan, but Hutchinson's dominated games. Let's go get Garrett Wilson. You got to build around Zach Wilson, so we're gonna go get Garrett Wilson here. The Giants have another 2 picks. They go Hutch and Evan Neal. That's a really good draft for them. Jake Jackson hasn't really put it together. Let's see. Traylon Burks is another guy to watch. I've been impressed with him during the season. I wasn't the highest on him, but he's gotten a lot better as the season's gone on. Kingsley Enagbari, I have not been that impressed with him from what I've seen on film. All right. Pick 36. I know you like Zion Nelson. Very
Not
much
as much as
good pass rush. What are the good cornerbacks we got here? I like Bryce Hall at that cornerback spot, but I like Trent McDuffie. That's just kind of a reach too. They got C.J. Mosley at linebacker. Any offensive weapons we can maybe get? I want to address that cornerback spot, and I think McDuffie probably.
yeah, they do need help. That is, I mean, I could see them going back to back on that because.
And this is kind of your chance because I think the cornerback class falls off a little bit after McDuffie and Kendrick will be off the board. We won't have a chance to get those guys, so let's go get McDuffie. Super sticky corner from what I've seen. Very good man coverage. I do like. I believe his name is Bryce Hall from Virginia. Yeah, Bryce Hall from Virginia was a first round talent before he snapped his leg in half. And he's kind of battled back and given the Jets some promise at that position. I know they signed Rashad Goose from the Bills practice squad. Let's go get Trent McDuffie here.
Yeah, it makes sense. They need help there so bad.
Jalen Watermeyer is interesting. So now we have another high pick. Could have gone Darian Kendrick. I think we got to go offensive side of the ball. We kind of address what they really need help with is that back end. We go get Hamilton and McDuffie. I think solidifies it a little bit better. They do have a solid front. C.J. Mosley's been solid for them. That they went out and paid him. They obviously have Shaq Lawson and Carter Lawson. I'm not going to go running back here. I like Michael Carter. I'm looking at the tight end position, K-Dot, and it's nothing that like really entices me there.
Yeah, I don't love K-Dot in this high. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
you probably don't need
Weidermeyer
because now we have Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Elijah
Moore,
probably
three.
From Baylor, who Mims, Denzel Mims. So
yeah, but I don't know if he's going to end up working out. He hasn't really shown much. I don't think.
Yep, I agree. Brandon Smith, for you guys who know follow the show, I like more than my brother. David Ajabo's there at it's kind of a low rating for him. I think he'll be a first round pick. It's all said and done. Let's go back to the big board here. See if we can get like best available. Jaquan Brisker is also another guy that
That'd actually wouldn't be a terrible pick.
Hamilton, Brisker, and Trent McDuffie are all solid. I know they have Ashton Davis, who they picked relatively high. Trying to look at some more guys who are.
I will say, I think the linebackers are decent value here. I think Smith and Harris are both like have the potential to be very good players, and I get that they have Mosley, but obviously they don't have much around them.
Yep, I know they drafted this kid from Florida State.
He's like a pass rusher more.
Let's go get how long do they have C.J. Mosley on contract for? Through 2025. So you get Brandon Smith here. And Brandon Smith, I think of as kind of a not necessarily a project, but he's a guy who has all the tools. You just have to work on his eyes and him kind of seeing the field a little bit better. You stick him there with C.J. Mosley, and you got two real erasers at the linebacker spot. So why don't we go up and get him? I like Brandon Smith. The intangibles, the athletic ability, the length, and
that's my thing with him is if you can get him playing a little faster, he'd be really a weapon, I think, because watching him now, he doesn't always attack the lines as hard, but
if you don't get Hamilton and you might go with Stingley or you go with Evan Neal in that top 5 area, Jalen Catalon from Arkansas is like a nice prospect to eye in that second round. Very good tackler, pretty good. Honestly, like a little bit Jamal Adams-y. I'll pull up a picture of him, and he kind of like, to me, just seems like a Jamal Adams guy. Kind of where like he has got the wristbands. He's just like, and you look at it and he flies around the field, makes a lot of plays. Like, tell me that doesn't like remind you of Jamal Adams right here. That's what Jamal Adams
That
2.0.
does look like him, yeah.
And so he could kind of be a guy that you might want to look for in that second round area. Let's keep going with the draft. I know Henry To'oTo'o as the picks are going. He might be a prospect to maybe stay one more year. We haven't seen him like kind of put it together.
And not at Bama. He looked like he was at Tennessee, but
I know we just went linebacker. Owen Pepo is good. And Marvin Overshown is another one of those like really long linebackers with good range. Looking at the Jahan Dotson, I love here too. Again, if we don't go wide receiver, there's a couple good wide receivers at this spot too. Jahan Dotson, I could certainly see them taking a flyer on. Zion Johnson, if you really want to start building, he's probably the best guard available. Have Jackson Kirkland at guard. That's a horrible comp. I really don't think he plays guard. Darian Kennard, I really like. He's another guy who you either put at right tackle, so you got Mekhi at your left, Darian Kennard at your right, Barrett Tucker at left guard, and all of a sudden you're just running the ball on everybody. Which is like one of the best things you can do for a young quarterback is get a good ground game. Kind of opens up some throwing lanes. I don't know if I want to take him here though. Who do we have? Are we still at who are we throwing to? Ryan Grit. So we definitely need help. I hate Kenny Yeboah. He's not going to give you anything that I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not even giving him a look at playing, really. The games I've seen, he isn't even on the field for a second.
Jake Ferguson is legitimately like the bluest of blue chips. He's not going to give you like the best athletic ability.
Yeah, that might as well be Ryan Griffin, kind of.
Yeah, that's probably true. He isn't. I'm not taking a. That's a really good point. I'm not taking a tight end with that limited upside. That high. The tight ends that are going, Kyle Pitts, who's almost a receiver at this point. Jalen Wademeyer would give you some of that more upside, but I don't know if I'm trying to think of how can we best help Zach Wilson out, and I think that might just be going and getting a Darian Kennard who, if he doesn't play tackle, he's a very, very good guard.
Yeah. No, I don't think that would be a bad pick.
Why don't we go up and get Darian Kennard, really build around Zach Wilson, give him – at this point, that's what you have to do when you draft quarterback that high, and I think what the Giants might have made a mistake on with Daniel Jones is you go up and get a quarterback, and then you
just go all defense. Yeah.
And then you have a good defense, but you don't – like the Giants are in a spot where it's like, is Daniel Jones our guy or is he not? Hard to tell because you didn't really give him much of a shot. Sam Williams, that's our guy, Ole Miss, man. Go if you guys are into edge play, go watch Sam Williams against Mississippi State last night in the Egg Bowl. He was wreaking havoc. I think he had 2.5 sacks last night against a very good pass pro line, and they were only rushing 3 for most of the night. So he was really tearing it up, wreaking havoc, being a dog.
Yeah, great. I didn't even really know much about him, and then yesterday we were watching. He was balling.
Oh yeah, he's a beast. I really like him.
Those are actually not horrible, but
it's not a horrible trade. I kind of want to see. I want to see who's on the board if I like anybody before I trade down. Some running backs. I really do like Michael Carter. As kind of, I don't know if he's quite a 3-down back. I think he could benefit from having another back in the rotation with them. I'm kind of out on LaMichael Piron at this point. The only problem is I don't know if I love Ty Johnson or Tevin Coleman. And so I'd be intrigued to get a back like Zonovan Knight, but I don't know if we need to take that now. If there's anyone else that screams at you, let me know. Isaiah Thomas, getting that pass rush, he's a really solid.
Isaiah Thomas is an edge guy here.
I'm going to take this trade offer. I'm going to get another pick because there's a bunch of guys I like here, and we'll get another pick towards the back end. Oh, my God, Isaiah Thomas goes. Should just want to got him.
Crazy.
Now we got back-to-back picks here though. Let's make some moves now. Let's get active. Nolan Smith's a guy that I think he's a little bit scheme dependent, but he's a very good pass rusher. Gets a little overshadowed with Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, those guys in the front seven. But Nolan Smith's a former #1 overall recruit in the country. Very good in space when he drops out in coverage, but also can get after the passer. And so he's kind of an interesting guy you can throw in, and also just a really good locker room guy. Realistically, he seems like he's the leader on that defense, even though he might not be the best player on defense. So that's a guy that you got to be watching. So having Knight here I don't hate that. What are the other
also like a special teams weapon, Zonovan Knight?
Yeah, it's very good kick returner. Yep. See, I like a guy like Zach Charbonnet. Later, I don't think I think this is relatively low for him. I have him a top 3 running back. 6'1", 220, runs through contact, has very good speed. I think the biggest thing you want to see more of him is just being a little bit more shifty and have that shake. I'll get Nolan Smith if you want to get Nolan Smith.
Yeah, I don't think that's
put on some weight, or else he'll play like more of that outside linebacker role. But he's a guy with tremendous athletic ability, very good leader on that team. Yeah, let's go get him. We've got another pick here. Man, they just gave us all the picks. You want to go get Zonovan Knight now or no?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick. I don't think it's a bad combo because he's a bigger.
Or George Pickens. I don't think he'll fall that low, but
I'm interested to see if he definitely goes to the draft this year.
I think he will.
I think he will too, but if he doesn't play a game, or I know he's suited up, but if he doesn't like play,
he's definitely gunning for the SEC championship game. He wouldn't be suiting up right now and running through warmups if he wasn't.
That's probably true. But
George Pickens is a guy who moves really well for his size, catches contested really well. Phenomenal hands. If he doesn't get hurt, he's a first-round pick in my opinion.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Wide receiver room. So I know the Jets have gone heavy in the wide receivers. They go out and get Corey Davis. How long is Jamison Crowder? So I feel like you just got to cut your ties with him. How long? Do you know how much longer they have Jamison Crowder for?
Not offhand, but
I know they have Corey Davis through 2024. They signed him to a 3-year deal. I'll just use the command. Crowder, here he is. Oh, so he's up after this year. So that gives you a little bit more incentive to go get a wide receiver. So then you got Elijah Moore, Corey Davis for a couple more years. We went up and got Garrett Wilson. I love George Pickens' upside at this spot. What's our tight end looking like? Nothing. Nada.
No, I don't think Record's bad. I think Record's pretty good.
And we went up and got – this is a great draft. I feel like we're answering all – like this – the Jets have a serious chance at really getting – I'm going to go get George Pickens. I love the upside. And it's not like you need him to produce because you got other wide receivers in their room.
Yeah.
Travis Jones from Connecticut's a guy to watch. Wendell Robinson, I like in the sense that you get the ball in his hands in space.
You just can't take him with Elijah Moore because they
kind of agree with
copies.
I kind of agree with that. I feel like now's a good running back spot. Let's go get Zach Charbonnet. Kind of balance out. What's Michael Carter's stature? I need his height and weight. I should have typed in that. I like him. I know the Jets like him a lot. Yeah, he's a little bit more of a smaller guy. Gives you the ability to go out of the backfield. I think Zach Charbonnet kind of balances him out more. I'm a huge fan of getting good rookie running backs and keeping them on. You're not. I don't love going out and paying for a running back outside of their rookie deal. So if you can go kind of build up that running back depth with the rookies, you don't have to pay much. Kind of run them into the ground, and then you cut your ties with them after that contract, after that rookie deal is up. But I mean, you see teams that pay for big running back. I mean, look at the Cowboys. They go out and get Zeke, pay him a lot. Tony Pollard would give him the same production as a third-round pick. So since you're McCormick, I don't see enough like it with him. Like he's solid, and the strength of competition is not great. He's obviously putting up in the dummy numbers, but he's also had a ton of carries.
You know who kind of makes a little sense to me is that Zion Tupolo Fatui. I think he got hurt at some point either this year or last year. He in Achilles, and I thought he was really like his last year's tape. I thought was really good, and it seems like people downgrade him a little bit because of the injury, but I do really like his game.
We'll get edges here. I like that kid from Virginia Tech too. I'll go get ZTF. I've heard a lot about him. I don't know a ton about him. I haven't gotten into his film, but let's go get him. I like Arnold Abegite as well. This kid from Notre Dame is all right. I've seen a little bit of his film. Xavier Thomas, the guy that he kind of battled through a lot. I'm just surprised to see him that low. I've gotten to Monet Clark in a lot of drafts. I think he's got a solid build, a little bit like Brandon Smith. Kind of a tackle machine, if I'm recalling correct. Yeah, 6'3", 245. He's built. Like, let's pull up a picture of him real quick. Like, he's got that linebacker body.
Yeah, but he is a longer, leaner guy, which obviously prefer now.
He's got great range. He'll test really well. I think he's a tackle machine. I'm gonna make sure I'm not making that up, but I'm pretty sure he's like leading the team in tackles. 2021. Is that for real? He's 125 total tackles. Yeah. So let's go get him. He's another guy. And again, at this point, when you're getting into late round 5, 6, 7, getting guys who are also going to be able to play special teams and make an impact like other places is kind of another thing that you want to see. Monet Clark's probably one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does play a similar game to Brandon Smith on some level. He's not like a downhill thumper, more of a rangy sort of linebacker. But again, I think that's kind of what you want to be picking nowadays.
And you want those long, like in the passing game when you're playing like that zone coverage, like having guys who can get their paws out, get their limbs out, and make those throwing windows a little bit smaller. Definitely like that. We don't have any pick in round 6. That's fine. Man, this is such an opportunity for the Jets to change this franchise, especially with how bad Seattle's been. So you're looking at getting Seattle a top 15 pick from Seattle. Yeah. I don't know if it'll stay top 10, so I'm guessing they're going to start stacking some wings with Russ back, but do we even have a pick in 7? We might not. This Purdue, wow. He's just gonna be a fullback at the end of the day. All right, recap. A lot of picks, a lot of opportunities to go get some really good football players. And at 2, more of just the best available. We took him over Stingley. I don't hate the idea of getting Stingley here and then looking for safety at 36 or 43 or even 67. You'll get like a Leon O'Neal, Jalen Catalon, guy like that. Kyle Hamilton's just too valuable. We go up and get a wide receiver to help Zach Wilson. In my opinion, wide receiver 1. If you go with Olave, I wouldn't argue with you. go get somebody who's going to get separation and give Zach Wilson some open throwing windows. Let's just make it happen. Corey Davis, I get what they were trying to do with him, but like he's just not quite that guy. He's a 2, so
he's a good 2. He's a really good 2. But they wanted him as the 1, and they need somebody to be the alpha dog.
And Elijah Moore is great in the slot. He'll take over after Jamison Crowder's done. So all of a sudden, you have one of the better wide receiving cores if Garrett Wilson kind of pans out like many people think he is. Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore. Trent McDuffie, he's just a super solid cornerback. He'll immediately start for this team just because they're so bad there. Probably going to be him and Bryce Hall, which I like, kind of some young guns, but you get Kyle Hamilton in the backfield too. And it's turning into a better secondary than it was. Brandon Smith, the rangy linebacker, I love him. He hasn't had like the best year this year, but looking at the body, looking at what he's going to test, I don't mind taking him in the second round. Darren Kennard, right tackle / guard, mauler. If you want to get the run game going, I mean, imagine if you move like Vera Tucker over to right guard, and then you go back to Darren Kennard and you just run power to the left side.
Well, that's just 2 heavy sides. I mean, because Mekhi and Elijah obviously are.
And Vera Tucker is also so solid. There's just a lot of meat for those D linemen to try to get through to go tackle Michael Carter. Then we get Nolan Smith, who is very much I don't know what he'll do. I mean, he's definitely a 3-4 outside linebacker who's rushing the passer a lot, but he's also super solid in coverage. I would like to see Nolan Smith get a little bit better pass rush film. But I like this player. I've seen a lot of interviews with him. He's a good guy to have in your locker room. He's going to get better for you. George Pickens, massive upside. If you can get him here, I'd take him. Steal. He could be such a good wide receiver in the NFL. You might need to get him earlier because at the end of the day, he comes back for the SEC championship game, shows that he's back from that ACL injury.
I don't see him making it to the 3rd round. That's kind
of Zach Charbonnet at 146. He's another guy who's just going to balance out that backfield. Him and Michael Carter will be really good. CTF, that's kind of your guy. I don't know too much about him yet, but I'm gonna trust you.
Well, the problem is he hasn't really played much this year because he tore his Achilles. So I thought he could have been a guy last year going into the draft, but he came back to school and then got hurt in I believe the spring or winter. But
was that the guy who we were watching a lot of Levi Ozu?
That would make kind of sense.
And you were just
I was just looking for edges, but
and then Monet
they're
Clark.
like long guy,
Monet Clark is kind of a guy similar to Brandon Smith who I really like. So that's a really good draft, honestly. I think we did a great job there. They have a lot of picks. I think they have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and then they have their 3rd as well. Those firsts are probably in the top 15 too. So a lot of opportunity to build a really strong roster for Zach Wilson, build up that defense, and hopefully look to turn around this franchise that they better get going because it looks like Mac Jones is going to work out in New England. So you got 2 guys with quarterbacks, and the Dolphins might be screwed for life, but we'll see. Thank you guys. There's another mock draft video for you guys. We'll be back with some more. We love doing this, kind of looking at different spots that prospects can go for. Again, it's early. We don't even have our official prospect rankings out yet, which we'll start working on during that kind of gap between conference championships and bowls. So stay tuned for more of that, and we appreciate you guys hanging around with us. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.